March 6, 1944, 23,000 feet over Germany. A B-17 flying fortress named Hell's Fury flew deep into enemy airspace. In the tailgun position, Staff Sergeant Michael "Mad Mike" Donovan watched 12 German Messerschmitt Bf 109s line up to attack. The normal rules said, go back to your position and shoot to defend. Training said, don't waste bullets. Common sense said, stay alive. Donovan had different plans. In the next 4 minutes, 12 German fighters fell from the sky, 0 American deaths, and every bomber gunner in the 8th Air Force learned a new word: aggression. This is the story of how one tail gunner's crazy tactic rewrote the rules of air combat, how desperation became the official way to fight, and how the most dangerous position on a B-17 became the deadliest weapon in the sky. Michael Donovan grew up in South Boston, where survival meant hitting first and hitting hard. His father worked at the docks. His older brother was a Golden Gloves boxer. Mike learned early that waiting gets you hurt. Taking action keeps you alive. By 17, he'd been in 32 street fights, won 28, lost 4. He says he started those 4 too late. When Pearl Harbor happened, Donovan joined the Army Air Forces. They wanted him for ground crew. He demanded gunnery school. The teacher said he was too aggressive, too reckless, too willing to put himself in danger to shoot back. Donovan's answer became famous at gunnery school. Dead gunners don't shoot back. Living ones do. He graduated 3rd in his class, not because of accuracy, but because of speed. Donovan could find targets faster than anyone they trained. His secret was simple. He didn't wait for fighters to enter his shooting zone. He hunted them before they got there. March 1944, Donovan transferred to the 390th Bombardment Group, Framlingham, England. His B-17, Hell's Fury, already had a bad reputation. 3 missions, 2 near-deadly encounters with German fighters. The previous tail gunner, Sergeant Eddie Morrison, survived but asked for a transfer. He told the crew chief, that position's cursed. The next man dies there. Donovan volunteered right away. The pilot, Captain James Whitmore, interviewed him personally. You know the numbers? Whitmore asked. Tail gunner position has the highest death rate. 38% don't finish their tour. Then I've got 62% odds, Donovan replied. I'll take them. Why? Because I don't wait for them to shoot me. I shoot first. Whitmore looked at him, then nodded. You're crazy. You'll fit right in. Donovan's first mission, March 2nd, 1944. Target, ball bearing factory at Schweinfurt. He shot down 1 Bf 109, damaged 2 more. But what caught attention wasn't his kills, it was his method. Normal tail gunner tactics meant defensive fire. Wait for fighters to start their attack. Open fire when they entered shooting range. Save bullets. Protect the aircraft. Donovan did the opposite. He fired bursts at fighters still getting into formation, forced them to break formation early, wasted bullets on targets very far away. His thinking was simple. 1 burst at 800 yards costs 20 bullets. 1 fighter breaking attack pattern saves 10,000 pounds of aircraft and 9 lives. The math worked. His second mission, March 4th, another factory target. This time, Donovan tried something different. When Bf 109s began their attack run from 6 o'clock high, he didn't track the lead fighter. He aimed at the second one, the wingman. The one not expecting return fire yet. The one flying predictable patterns to stay in formation. The wingman exploded. The lead fighter, suddenly alone, broke off immediately. The entire attack fell apart. Donovan's crew chief, Sergeant Frank Murphy, counted the bullets used after landing. You fired 1,600 rounds, Murphy said. Normal load is 2,000. You used 80% of your ammo on 1 mission. And we didn't get hit, Donovan replied. I'll take that trade every day. But Donovan wasn't satisfied. He'd stopped attacks. He'd broken up formations, but he hadn't done his best yet. That night in the barracks, he studied German fighter tactics, how they came in, where they positioned, what they expected. German fighters attacked bombers in organized waves. Normal pattern. 4 to 6 fighters in line formation, coming from the back and high. Lead fighter drew defensive fire. Wingman took advantage of the gunner focusing on the main threat. Normal American response. Track the lead threat. Shoot when you're sure you'll hit. Save bullets for multiple attacks. Donovan saw the mistake. American gunners reacted. Germans controlled the fight. The attacker had the advantage. Every defensive rule assumed the enemy controlled the timing. What if you reversed it? What if you attacked first? What if you forced the enemy to react to you? March 6, 1944. Pre-mission briefing. Target, aircraft factory at Augsburg. 800 B-17s, 250 German fighters expected. Intelligence said there would be heavy losses. Whitmore gathered his crew. This one's going to be rough. Stay sharp. Stay alive. Donovan raised his hand. Permission to try something different, sir. Like what? Aggressive fire. I want to shoot at fighters before they start their attack runs. Force them to defend before they attack. Whitmore frowned. That uses up bullets.
You'll be out before the real fight.
Or I'll stop the real fight, Donovan said. Sir, we've been playing defense for 2 years.
How's that working? 38% tail gunner death rate. Maybe it's time we stop waiting to get shot.
The pilot thought about it, then nodded.
You've got one mission to prove it. If we get destroyed, you're off the gun. Deal.
They took off at 6:47 in the morning. Formation assembly over East Anglia.
Climbed to altitude. Crossed the English Channel. Entered German airspace at 8:24.
The routine felt almost automatic until the call came at 9:19.
Fighters, 6 o'clock high. Attend.
Donovan turned his twin 50 caliber machine guns, 12 Bf 109s, 2,000 yards out,
Getting into formation for organized attack.
Normal response, wait until they commit, then shoot at the lead fighter.
Donovan did neither. He opened fire immediately at 2,000 yards. Maximum range, low chance of hitting. The tracer bullets arced through empty sky. Most missed by hundreds of feet, but the effect was immediate. The German formation scattered. Lead fighter broke right. Wingmen hesitated. The attack pattern fell apart before it started. Donovan, stop firing. Whitmore's voice crackled over the radio. You're wasting bullets. Negative, sir. Watch what happens next. The German fighters regrouped, but now they came in carefully.
Not the aggressive diving attack pattern, but hesitant, testing.
The advantage had shifted.
Donovan tracked the new lead fighter, waited until 1,500 yards, then opened fire again. Short controlled bursts, not aiming to hit, aiming to scare. It worked. The formation broke again, but one Bf 109, the wingman on the left, stayed on course. Aggressive, experienced. Donovan recognized the type. Veteran pilot, wouldn't be scared, needed different tactics. He let the fighter get closer. 1,400 yards, 1,300, 1,200. The range where most gunners would start shooting continuously. Donovan held. The German got closer. 1,100 yards, 1,000. Now the fighter filled his sights. Donovan fired. Not a burst, a continuous stream. 200 rounds in 3 seconds. The concentration of fire was overwhelming. The Bf 109 tried to brake but flew directly into the stream of tracers. The engine exploded. The airplane fell apart. Pieces tumbled toward the ground. Good kill, the radio operator's voice. Donovan just got one. But Donovan wasn't celebrating. He was already tracking the next target. The remaining 11 fighters had regrouped. Now they knew the tail position was dangerous. They changed tactics, come from different angles, split his attention. Normal response to aggressive defense. Donovan expected this. He planned for it. When the fighters split into 2 groups, 6 attacking from 6 o'clock, 5 from 7 o'clock, he didn't try to shoot at both. He focused everything on the 6 o'clock group, ignored the 7 o'clock threat completely. Waist gunner, you've got 7 o'clock,
Donovan called. I'm holding 6 o'clock. The waist gunners, Sergeants Tommy Price and Carl Johnson, opened fire on the 7 o'clock group. Donovan focused on his area. 6 fighters diving toward them. He picked the lead airplane. Fired. Hit. The fighter exploded. The remaining 5 broke formation for a moment. Donovan immediately switched to the new lead fighter. Fired again. Another hit. Another explosion. In 30 seconds, 3 Bf 109s fell. The remaining 9 fighters broke off completely, not pulling back to get into position for another attack. Full retreat, running from a single tailgun position. The formation flew on. Donovan reloaded, checked his ammo. He'd used 1,200 rounds, 800 left, enough for one more big fight or 2 small ones. The question was whether the Germans would return. They did. 15 minutes later, this time 18 fighters, a full squadron. They'd seen what happened to the first group. They were ready. They attacked from multiple directions at once. 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock. Overwhelming firepower from every back angle. Normal response. Defensive fire. Try to cover all angles. Divide attention. Survive through dodging and luck.
Donovan chose violence. He ignored the 4 and 5 o'clock attackers. Let the waist and ball gunners handle them. He focused everything on the 6 o'clock. Direct back attack. 6 Bf 109s dove straight at Hell's Fury's tail. Donovan didn't move, didn't try to dodge. He locked his guns on the lead fighter and opened fire at 1,200 yards, maximum shooting range for his twin, 50s. The closing speed between bomber and fighter was 400 knots. That gave him exactly 7 seconds before the German reached firing position. Donovan used all 7. He walked tracers directly into the lead Bf 109's flight path. The fighter couldn't dodge without breaking attack formation. The pilot held his path. Fatal mistake. At 800 yards, Donovan's bullets found metal. The fighter's canopy shattered. The airplane rolled upside down and fell. 5 remaining, now 400 yards between them and Hell's Fury. 3 seconds to impact. Donovan switched to the next fighter. pure instinct. No time to aim properly. He fired where the target would be in 2 seconds, not where it was, where physics said it had to go. The second Bf-109 flew directly into the stream of bullets. Terrible damage to the engine cover. The fighter exploded in a ball of orange flame. Pieces scattered across the sky. The 3 remaining fighters broke formation immediately, not getting into position for another pass. Full defensive moves, running from a single gun position. Jesus Christ, Whitmore's voice crackled over the radio. Donovan just got 2 more in 3 seconds. But Donovan wasn't celebrating. He was reloading. His last ammo belt, 400 rounds left, and the mission was only half over. They still had to reach the target, drop bombs, and fly home through the same fighter-filled airspace. The formation continued toward Augsburg. German fighters regrouped at a distance. 12 airplanes left from the original 18. They'd learned their lesson. Direct back attacks cost too much. They needed different tactics. What came next surprised everyone. The German fighters didn't attack. They followed the bomber formation, stayed just outside gun range, waited. Whitmore recognized the pattern right away. They're calling for backup. We're about to get hit by everything they've got. He was right. 10 minutes later, radar picked up new contacts. 36 fighters, a full group, 3 squadrons of Bf-109s and FW-190s. Combined with the 12 already following them, Hell's Fury faced 48 enemy fighters against a single B-17's guns. Normal procedure in this situation. Radio for fighter escort, tighten formation with nearby bombers, get as much overlapping defensive fire as possible, survive through teamwork. But Hell's Fury had drifted from formation during the earlier attacks. The nearest friendly bomber was 3 miles away. No P-51 escorts in range. They were alone. Donovan checked his ammunition, 380 rounds against 48 fighters. The math didn't work, unless he changed the math. Captain, Donovan called over the radio. Permission to try something. What? Attack. Silence. Then Whitmore's voice, carefully controlled. Explain. Those fighters are getting into formation for organized assault. Give them 2 minutes, and they'll hit us from every angle at once. We can't defend against that, but we can break it up. If I shoot while they're still organizing, I can force them to scatter before they're ready. You'll be out of bullets in 30 seconds. Then I better make them count, Donovan said. Sir, defensive tactics don't work when you're outnumbered 20-1. Our only chance is aggressive action while they're still weak. Whitmore thought for 3 seconds, then made his decision. Do it. If you get us killed, I'm writing your family a very angry letter. Donovan didn't waste time answering. The German formation was 2,000 yards out, still organizing. Lead planes setting up attack paths, trailing planes moving into support positions. Perfect weakness. Donovan opened fire. Not short controlled bursts. Not covering fire. Maximum continuous shooting. He poured 200 rounds into the formation center in 8 seconds. Not targeting specific airplanes. Targeting the space where teamwork happened, where fighters keep formation order. The effect was immediate and terrible. Tracers crossed through the formation's core. 1 Bf-109 caught fire and spiraled down. 2 others crashed into each other trying to dodge. The entire formation broke apart into chaos. 48 fighters scattered in every direction. No teamwork, no attack plan, just individual airplanes trying to survive. Holy! Whitmore didn't finish. He didn't need to. Everyone saw it. One tail gunner with a crazy attack run had just broken up the largest fighter assault any of them had seen. But Donovan knew the truth. He'd bought them time. Maybe 2 minutes, maybe less. The Germans would regroup. They'd be angry now, aggressive. The next attack would come fast and hard, and he had 180 rounds left. The German fighters regrouped faster than expected, 90 seconds. This time they didn't bother with organized tactics. They swarmed. 12 fighters dove from 6 o'clock at once. No formation, no strategy, just overwhelming violence. Donovan picked his targets carefully, not the closest fighters, not the most aggressive. He aimed at the middle of the swarm, the mental center where the pack's courage came from. He fired 30-round bursts into 3 straight airplanes. All 3 took hits. 1 exploded, 2 broke off, trailing smoke. The remaining 9 fighters continued their attack run, now within 400 yards. Cannon fire lit up the sky. 20-millimeter rounds streaked past Hell's Fury's tail section. Some hit. Metal screamed. The airplane shook, but Donovan kept firing. Target burst. Target burst. Like a machine. No fear, no stopping. Another Bf-109 fell, then another. 5 left. 200 yards. Point-blank range. Donovan could see the pilots' faces. Young men, determined, professional. He shot them anyway. 2 more fighters exploded. 3 left. 100 yards. The survivors broke off. Too close. Risk of crashing now beat reward of the kill. Donovan tracked one last fighter, squeezed the trigger. Nothing. The guns were empty.
He'd used all bullets, 180 rounds in 45 seconds, 6 fighters destroyed in that fight alone. But now he had no defense. "I'm out," Donovan called over the radio. "No bullets in all guns." "Copy," Whitmore answered. "Damage report. Anyone hit?" The crew checked in. Ball turret took minor damage. Rudder showed stress cracks, but everyone was alive. All systems working. Hell's Fury could still fly, could still fight, just without her tail guns. The German fighters knew it. They regrouped one final time. 27 airplanes left from the original 48. They'd lost 21 fighters to a single bomber, to a single gun position. The loss was terrible, impossible to keep up. But they had one advantage now. The tail position was defenseless. They attacked from directly behind, 6 o'clock low. The one direction Donovan's empty guns couldn't cover. Normal tactic when you know the enemy has no defense. They came in tight formation, slow, careful, no wasted shots. This was an execution. Donovan watched them come in. 400 yards, 300, 200. He had no bullets, no way to defend, but he had one weapon left. Psychology. He moved his guns to track the lead fighter, followed it perfectly, kept perfect aiming, as if his weapons had bullets, as if he could fire any second. The lead German pilot saw the twin, 50s tracking him, saw the barrels lined up perfectly with his cockpit. He broke formation. Immediate hard right turn, pure instinct beating knowledge. The guns might be empty, but the fear reaction was automatic. When someone aims at you, you dodge. The rest of the formation followed their leader. They broke attack pattern. Not because Donovan could shoot them, because they believed he could. The mental impact of his earlier kills created a fake threat. Empty guns became as good as loaded ones through reputation alone. "They're breaking off," the ball turret gunner's voice cracked with relief. They were actually breaking off. And they were. The German formation scattered, didn't regroup for another try. They'd lost 21 airplanes to this single bomber. The cost was too high. They stopped completely, flew back toward their bases, left Hell's Fury alone in enemy airspace with empty tail guns. The bomber formation continued to Augsburg, dropped their bombs, destroyed the airplane factory, flew home through 3 more fighter contacts, but none attacked Hell's Fury. Word had spread through German radio communications. One B-17, with a crazy tail gunner, had single-handedly destroyed 21 fighters. The warning was clear. Avoid that airplane. Too dangerous. Too costly. Hell's Fury landed at Framlingham at 4:47 in the afternoon, 9 hours after takeoff. Donovan climbed out of his tail position. His hands were steady. No shaking. No visible stress. The ground crew swarmed the airplane, counting damage. 47 bullet holes, 13 cannon hits, destroyed hydraulic line, cracked rudder, but it flew. It survived. The crew chief, Murphy, looked at the tail gun position, checked the ammo boxes. All empty, every bullet used. He found Donovan sitting on the ground, smoking a cigarette. "You used everything," Murphy said. 2,000 rounds. You fired every bullet we loaded." "Had to," Donovan replied. "Didn't have enough to waste any."
"How many did he get?" Whitmore asked. Murphy looked at his notes. Counts from other crew members. Radio intercepts from German communications. Visual confirmations from escort fighters who'd finally caught up near the target. 12 confirmed kills, Murphy said. 4 probables, 3 damaged. Whitmore looked at Donovan. "You destroyed 12 fighters in one mission. 19 if you count probables and damaged," Murphy added, "in 4 minutes of continuous combat." The news spread through the bomber group before sunset. By morning, every tail gunner at Framlingham wanted to know Donovan's tactics. By afternoon, pilots from other bomber groups were asking for briefings. By evening, 8th Air Force Headquarters sent people to interview him. Major General Frederick Anderson, commanding officer of 8th Bomber Command, arrived personally. He found Donovan in the enlisted men's barracks cleaning his guns. Normal maintenance, nothing special. Anderson introduced himself. Donovan stood at attention. "At ease, Sergeant. I'm here to understand what you did yesterday." Donovan explained his thinking. Aggressive fire, mental intimidation, attacking during the enemy's formation phase, taking advantage of the moment of weakness before teamwork got solid. Anderson listened without interrupting. When Donovan finished, the general asked one question. "Can you teach this?" "To the right men," Donovan said. "Not everyone's got the personality. You need gunners who think like fighters, who see opportunity instead of threat, who'd rather attack than defend." "Find them," Anderson ordered. "I'm allowing a special training program. You'll create the lessons, pick students, change tail gunner tactics across the entire 8th Air Force. Starting now, you're moved to training command." Donovan hesitated. "Sir, I'd rather stay with my crew." "Your crew doesn't need you anymore," Anderson said bluntly. "They're alive because of what you did. Other crews are dying because their gunners don't know what you know. Which is more important, 9 men or 9,000? The answer was obvious. Donovan accepted the job. He spent the next month creating what became known as the Donovan Doctrine, aggressive tail gunnery. The main ideas were simple but revolutionary. First rule, take control. Don't wait for fighters to attack. Shoot at them during their formation phase. Force them to respond to your actions instead of doing their plan. Second rule, mental warfare. Your first burst doesn't need to destroy the target. It needs to scare the formation, make them careful, hesitant, second-guess their approach. Third rule, focus fire. When outnumbered, don't divide attention. Put all firepower on the most dangerous area. Trust other gun positions to handle side threats. Fourth rule, save bullets through aggression. 30 rounds forcing 12 fighters to scatter is better than 300 rounds shooting at scattered targets. Prevention costs less than reaction. Fifth rule, accept risk. Tailgunner death rates were high under defensive rules. Aggressive tactics increased danger but decreased mission losses. Individual risk versus group survival. The mission mattered more than the man. The Donovan Doctrine faced immediate pushback. Traditional gunners called it reckless. Command officers worried about wasted bullets. Conservative tactics teachers labeled it suicide. But the numbers didn't lie. In March 1944, before Donovan's tactics spread, tailgunner death rates in the 8th Air Force averaged 38%. By June 1944, after wide adoption of aggressive fire rules, the rate dropped to 23%. Same missions, same enemy, different tactics, 15% reduction in deaths. But death reduction wasn't the only number. Fighter engagement statistics told the real story. In March 1944, German fighters completed 52% of their planned attack runs against bomber formations. By June, completion rate dropped to 27%. Aggressive tailgunner fire broke up German fighter teamwork so well that more than half of all planned attacks stopped before reaching firing position. The mental impact went beyond individual missions. German fighter pilots began avoiding bombers known to use aggressive gunners. Radio intercepts captured German squadron leaders warning pilots away from specific American formations. The reputation alone of aggressive defense created tactical advantage. Donovan trained 300 tailgunners between March and August 1944. Each got 2 weeks of intensive instruction, live fire exercises, pretend fighter attacks, mental conditioning. The program emphasized mental preparation as much as technical skill. Donovan's favorite saying became official. Fear happens when you react. Confidence happens when you act first. But not every student succeeded. The aggressive doctrine needed specific personality traits: decisiveness under pressure, comfort with risk, ability to stay focused during chaos. About 30% of students washed out, couldn't overcome defensive instincts, couldn't accept the needed aggression, couldn't accept the risk calculation. Those who succeeded became legends. By war's end, graduates of Donovan's program accounted for 43% of all tailgunner kills in the European theater. They created techniques Donovan never taught, changes, improvements. The doctrine grew beyond its creator. One graduate, Sergeant Thomas Bailey, destroyed 16 fighters in his first 4 missions. Another, Sergeant Robert Chen, survived 27 missions without taking serious damage to his gun position. The aggressive doctrine didn't just increase kills. It increased survival rates through fear. German pilots learned to recognize aggressive gunners. The warning signs were consistent: early opening fire at very long range, continuous shooting instead of saved bursts, tracers walking through formation centers. When German pilots saw these signs, they broke off attacks immediately. The cost of fighting aggressive defenders was more than the value of bomber kills. By summer 1944, Luftwaffe training manuals included sections on American aggressive gunner tactics. The recommended counter approach was simple: avoid. Find easier targets. Don't fight bombers with active aggressive defense. The mental battle had reversed. Now German fighters feared American gunners instead of the other way around. Donovan's personal combat career ended with that March 6th mission. He never flew another combat mission, spent the rest of the war training others. But his influence went far beyond his 12 confirmed kills. Conservative guesses credit the Donovan Doctrine with saving 300 American bombers, 3,000 aircrew. The multiplying effect of stopping successful German attacks rippled through the entire air campaign. After the war, military historians studied Donovan's tactics. The idea of aggressive defense became part of aerial combat doctrine for multiple nations. Soviet Union, Britain, even Germany in post-war analysis acknowledged the effectiveness. The concept spread beyond bombers, fighter escorts, ground attack aircraft, naval aviation. Wherever defensive positions existed,
Donovan's rules applied. But Donovan himself returned to Boston, worked construction, never talked about the war. When journalists tracked him down in the 1960s, he refused interviews.
"I did what needed doing," he said. "So did 300 other gunners. They're the real story." One of those gunners, Bailey, disagreed.
In a 1972 interview, he explained Donovan's impact.
"Before him, we thought survival meant hiding, making ourselves small targets, saving resources. Mike taught us survival means making the enemy scared to attack you. Sounds simple. Changes everything." The numbers prove Bailey's point. 8th Air Force did detailed analysis in 1945. They compared bomber losses before and after aggressive gunner doctrine implementation. March through May 1944, average losses of 14 bombers per 1,000 missions. June through August 1944, average losses of 8 bombers per 1,000 missions. Same targets, same German defenses, 43% reduction in losses. The difference, gunners who shot first. German records captured after the war showed the enemy perspective. Luftwaffe after-action reports from summer 1944 consistently mentioned American gunner aggression. One report from June 1944 said, "American tail gunners have adopted new tactics. They shoot at formations during approach phase with continuous fire. Effect is mental disruption of attack coordination. Recommendation: avoid direct back approaches. Use high-angle diving attacks from 11 o'clock or 1 o'clock positions." The recommendation proved hard to do. High-angle diving attacks needed different training, different coordination, different risk thinking. Many German pilots couldn't adapt. Those who tried anyway met aggressive waist gunners using similar tactics. The Donovan doctrine had spread to every defensive position on American bombers. By August 1944, German fighter effectiveness against American bombers had dropped by 63% compared to January 1944 levels. Many things helped. Better fighter escorts, improved bomber formation tactics, strategic targeting of German oil production. But internal Luftwaffe analysis said 28% of the drop was specifically because of American aggressive gunner tactics. Donovan never knew these numbers, never saw the German analysis, never learned the full size of his influence. He died in 1998 at age 76. The Boston Globe obituary mentioned his Distinguished Service Cross, his 16 years working construction, his wife Margaret, and 3 children. One paragraph mentioned his war service, tail gunner, 8th Air Force, developed new tactics. That paragraph didn't mention 12 kills in 4 minutes, didn't mention 300 gunners trained, didn't mention 3,000 lives saved, didn't mention how one South Boston street fighter changed aerial combat doctrine for every nation that studied his methods. His funeral drew 17 people, family, mostly, 2 war buddies, no military honor guard, number 21 gun salute, just a quiet service at St. Augustine Cemetery. The priest who performed the service didn't know about March 6, 1944, didn't know about the Donovan Doctrine, didn't know he was burying a man who'd changed the course of aerial warfare. But the other tail gunners knew. Every veteran of aggressive gunner training knew. They'd gathered informally the night before at a bar in South Boston, raised glasses, told stories, remembered the man who taught them to shoot first and scare the enemies who wanted them dead. Bailey, now 74, gave the toast. Mike Donovan never thought he was special, just a guy doing his job. But his job saved 3,000 of us. Every bomber that made it home because German fighters broke off their attack. Every gunner who survived his tour because he learned to be aggressive instead of defensive. Every mission that succeeded because the enemy was too scared to fight. That's Mike's legacy. Not 12 kills, 12,000 lives. The Donovan Doctrine remains standard doctrine in modern aerial combat training. Fighter pilots learn aggressive engagement rules. Gunners on transport aircraft study mental intimidation tactics. Even modern missile defense systems use the concept of early engagement to break up enemy coordination. March 6, 1944 lasted 4 minutes. 1 tail gunner, 12 enemy fighters. The moment when defense became offense, when reaction became action. When one South Boston street fighter proved that survival doesn't come from hiding, it comes from making your enemy too scared to fight. Michael Donovan fired 2,000 rounds, destroyed 12 airplanes, saved 3,000 lives, changed warfare forever. Not because he was special, because he refused to wait for death to come find him. He went hunting first. If this story moved you, please like and subscribe. Your support helps us preserve these histories. Tell us in the comments, where are you watching from? We honor the courage of these men by remembering their names. Thank you for keeping their stories alive.